Hello, today I'm going to be making my 2012 NFL Week 9 predictions and picks. And, over the last 2 weeks, I've done pretty well. I've only had, I think I missed like 3 games in the last 2 weeks. So I've done pretty well in my picking games. But to be honest with you, it's been some pretty easy games to pick. In my opinion, every third week, it seems to be a little bit tougher. There's a lot of games on here that are really a close match. So let's get into it. Starting with the Thursday night of the Kansas City Chiefs at the San Diego Chargers, and you look at the Chiefs, and you just see a bad football team. The Chiefs are not a good football team, and the quarterback situation is pretty dreadful. And then you look at the San Diego Chargers. They started out pretty good. But then again, you go back to that inconsistent San Diego Chargers football team. A 24-0 lead and a 24-point lead over the Denver Broncos at halftime. Peyton Manning comes back and wins the game 35-24. Then they have a bye. They have 2 whole weeks to prepare for the Cleveland Browns. One of the worst teams in the league, and you lose 7-6. Philip Rivers puts up 6 points. And you can't consider him an elite quarterback whatsoever. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a quarterback. Putting up 6 points versus the Cleveland Browns. It was painful to watch. I watched it on. I didn't see a lot of the game. I watched it on some of it on Red Zone, and from what I watched, it was not good. Turnovers, really killed the Chargers, and so this is why it's making it a tough pick for me to pick either of these teams, because I am going to go with the Chargers. But I probably wouldn't pick the Chargers versus any other team the way they're playing right now. They're playing dreadful football, and they are at home. So I think they'll be able to squeak out a victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. And Brady Quinn is out, so Matt Castle gets to start. And I think it's going to be another bad night for Matt Castle and the Kansas City Chiefs. I do think that the San Diego Chargers win this football game. Next game is the Arizona Cardinals at the Green Bay Packers, and here's a game where you have 2 different teams going in totally different directions. The Arizona Cardinals started out 4-0, and they lost the last 4. They're 4-4 now, and John Skelton's not looking so good. Their offense is looking pretty pathetic. And then you look at the Green Bay Packers, and you see them just starting to look like the 2011-2010 Green Bay Packers who we're all used to. I think the Packers win this game pretty easily. Gotta go with Green Bay. Next game is the Detroit Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think that the Lions are starting to find their rhythm again a little bit, and I think that they will they will beat the Jaguars. And in my opinion, the Jaguars are there with the Chiefs as the 2 worst teams in the league. They're not a good team at all. The Lions have way too much talent for the Jaguars to win this game. They'll have to put on a very terrible performance for the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Lions. So I'll have to go with the Lions in this one. The Bears and the Titans, and I actually put this one on upset alert. I am going to go with the Bears, but I think the Titans could make an upset. They had a tough game versus the Colts, and that great play by Vic Bauer leaping in the end zone in overtime to win the game. So they had they're a little bit emotionally down right now. But I think they come out, and they're at home once again, and I think they come out and they put a good performance on versus this Bears team. But I think it's a little bit too much. Chicago there, and I got to go with the Bears. And I'll actually say it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. I think Matt Hasselbeck's looking pretty good. I'll say about 35-31, somewhere around that range. So I don't think it's going to be no walk in the park for Chicago Bears, and they have a tough game here versus the Tennessee Titans, but I see them winning the game. Next game is the Denver Broncos at the Cleveland Bengals, and the Denver Broncos, in my opinion, they are the most hot football team in the league. Peyton Manning is looking like the Peyton Manning we're used to seeing in the past 10 years. Peyton Manning is looking great, and the Bengals are struggling. And even though they have a bye week, a whole 2 weeks to prepare for the Denver Broncos, I don't think that's enough. And I think that Denver and Peyton Manning stroll up there into Cincinnati, and they beat the Bengals pretty easily. I'll say, by at least 2 touchdowns, 14 points. I'll go with the Broncos in this one, and I see them really hitting a winning streak right here. They got through that tough, first 6 games, facing some really good teams. So they survived at 4-3. Had a good performance versus the Saints last Monday night. I'll go with the Broncos in this one. Next game is the Panthers at the Redskins, and you have the former great running, the former rookie sensation, Cam Newton, who is just he doesn't seem like a leader to me. He's just I don't know, his body language and the way he's playing is just not helping him through his little sophomore slump here. I think RG3 will win this game, and RG3 is having a great year. Redskins, especially being at home, I definitely got to go with the Redskins, and the Panthers are really struggling. Next game is the Ravens at the Browns. I think that this might be the closest game. Surprise, maybe the next game I will say I think might be the closest, but I think it's gonna be a really good game because the Ravens, they're not looking too good, to be honest with you, and I think that the Steelers might just win this division now because of their key losses on defense, and Joe Flacco just doesn't seem like he can really pick that team up. So I got to go with I'm still going to go with the Ravens. But I think that the Browns have a good performance, and I think they're starting to prove that they're not a very bad team. There's definitely a couple teams that are worse than them. So I'll go with the Ravens, but a pretty close game here. Next game, I think this will be the closest game out of all the games, and there's only 2 games. For this whole entire Week 9 schedule, there's only 2 games that have, 2 teams facing off with winning records. And who would have thought that you look through this and you see two teams with winning records, and you see the Dolphins and the Colts. I am a Colts fan. They are my team, and they're performing really well. And I am going to go with the Colts. Not just because I'm a Colts fan, but they are at home, and they play, in my opinion, great football at home. They play elite football at home, and they'll face this Dolphins team that, we don't really know the quarterback situation here. Who's going to start? Matt Moore, Ryan Tannehill. If Tannehill, can overcome, the hyperextended knee, I think that's what he has, or his ankle, or something in that leg, he will start. But I think that Andrew Luck and Reggie Wayne will have big games, and I think they'll win this game in a very close margin, and the Colts will improve to 5-3. And by the way, these teams are sitting at 5-6 in the AFC playoff picture, and the Colts the Jaguars next Thursday night. So if they can win this game, I think they'll have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs, and I think the Dolphins have a chance too because I think they're a pretty good team. The next game is the Buffalo Bills with the Houston Texans, and a blowout. Houston wins this game. Too much Matt Schaub, Arian Foster on offense, J.J. Watt on defense. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen, especially for the Texans being at home. There's not going to be any upset here. I think the Texans put the Bills out. Texans. Then you start going here with the late afternoon games, and it starts out with the Vikings at the Seahawks, and the Vikings did not look good at all versus the Buccaneers on Thursday night, and the Seahawks, in my opinion, are a decent team. I don't see them continuing this total success, but I think they'll play pretty well, and they are at home, and in my opinion, it's like the Colts. I think they're a great elite football team at home, but they're not a very good team away. So I have to go with the Seattle Seahawks just because they are at home, and I see the Vikings dropping yet another one. I'll go with the Seattle Seahawks. Next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Oakland Raiders, and the Buccaneers look pretty good, and the Raiders, just in my opinion, I don't buy them that much. I got to go with the Buccaneers on this one. Next is the Steelers at the New York Giants, and this will be a great game. You have two quarterbacks with 2 rings. 4 rings combined, two of each of them, and I think this will be a great game. I'm really excited to watch this game between Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger, and I got to go with the home team, the New York Giants. Very close game, in my opinion, one of the best games of the week. Next game is the Cowboys at the Atlanta Falcons, and to be honest with you, the Cowboys, I think they played a little bit better than the Giants. I mean, they had a terrible first half, but they came back, and if Dez Bryant keeps that finger in bounds, they win the game. So the Giants got lucky on that one, and I think the Cowboys will put a legitimate try of beating the Falcons, ending their undefeated season. But I think it's going to come up just short once again, and I'll go with the Atlanta Falcons on this one. Atlanta Falcons on this one because they're at home, and Matty Ice is just, or the Mattrel, which I like calling him. I think that's pretty cool. He's a totally different, well, not a totally different quarterback. He's proved. No, he's proved that he's a great quarterback at home, but he hasn't really proved that he's a great quarterback away until this year. But with that dome, he's still great in that dome. The Atlanta Falcons are a great team in that dome. I'll go with Atlanta. I think it's just going to be a little bit too much to handle for the Dallas Cowboys. And next game is the Monday Nighter, the last game on the schedule, the Eagles at the Saints, and two teams that pretty much, I mean, they both really need a win. And I think if the Eagles lose this game, Michael Vick has another poor performance. I think they will turn over to Nick Foles. I don't think they have another choice because at this point, Andy Reid, he needs to win. You know, he can't have another bad season. So this is a must-win for both teams. The Saints had a bad performance versus the Broncos. And I'm going to go with the home team, the New Orleans Saints. In a good game, I'll go with the Saints. I hate both of these teams, to be honest with you. They're two of my, worst hated teams. I just don't like either of them. But I think that Drew Brees is a much better quarterback, obviously, than Michael Vick. So I'll go with the Saints. So I think it'll be it's an exciting week to watch football, and I can't wait to watch every single game here. This Sunday. And thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a like and comment your picks. I like to see what other people think. So thanks. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. See ya.